Hi everyone, welcome back to Stamp with Anna, and today I'm going to show you the second card that we made at card class this week, and they are shaker cards with snow in them, and this is an adorable little snowflake card, and it's really quite simple. So let me show you what we have. For supplies for paper, I have powder pink cut at 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. I have Whisper White, which is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8, and then I have another piece of powder pink, which is 3 3/4 by 5. I also have a little window sheet, which is cut 2.5 by 3.5, and I'm going to put that aside so that I don't lose it. So this has a lot of embossing in it, so that's what I'm going to do first. I'm going to do all of my embossing. So I have 4 stamp sets. The Jar of Love stamp set. I love this. This is an oldie but a goodie, and I just keep going back to it because there's just so much stuff you can do with it. I'm going to use this large mason jar as well as the lid. And then from the coordinating dies, I'm going to use the die that cuts out the lid, and then this one that looks like a Pepsi can or a Coke can, and that's going to cut out the inside of my large jar. And my sentiment comes from Beautiful Blizzard, which is in the holiday catalog, and the oh god, look, me, I have ink all over me. The sentiment I'm using is, if a hug were a snowflake, I'd send you a blizzard. And I think that's so appropriate because here's a jar of snowflakes that I'm sending. So I'm going to do all of my embossing first. So for that, what I'm going to do is bring in my smaller piece of powder pink, which is 3 3/4 by 5, and I'm going to bring in my Pierce mat because it's photopolymer, and I also have a little scrap piece of white. With my Versamark ink, I'm going to stamp up my mason jar. I'm going to stamp that kind of towards the top, straight down and straight up. And then I'm going to take my sentiment, which I just love. If hug were a snowflake, I'd send you a blizzard. That is just so nice. And then I'm going to put that underneath my jar, right there. And then on my scrap piece of white, I'm going to stamp the lid of my jar. And now I'm going to emboss all of these, and I'm going to use silver embossing powder. So fortunately the Versamark doesn't dry really quickly, so I can get everything stamped before I start pouring my powder. Okay, there's my lid, and here's my jar and my sentiment. Shake that around. I really should have used my embossing buddy, but I didn't. So I'm gonna just use a paintbrush and get rid of a few scattered pieces here. Okay, now I'm going to just put all of my leftovers back in my jar. I've been doing so much embossing. I've been making all of my Christmas cards for some classes and for myself to give, to send, and for my Etsy shop, and I've just been busy with all this embossing. So now I'm going to come in with my heat gun and emboss all of it again. And once this gets started, it does move real quickly, and you'll see that. See how quick it comes out, and it's just so pretty. And if you just follow the design from one end to the other, you're sure to get all of it nice and embossed. Sometimes I know if I go from one place to the other and I scatter, I always find that I've missed some part of the image. So I just kind of like to follow the image with my heat tool. And I've used a lot of heat tools over the years, and I must say, not just because I'm a Stampin' Up! Demo, but I must say that I really do like the Stampin' Up! One, the best of all the ones that I've used. And I've used some, like I said, quite a few of them. I've been crafting for many, many years. And I just love to, I know I say this all the time, every time I make a video where I'm embossing. I just love to watch the powder melt, especially when I'm doing metallics. I'm like a kid in a candy store. And now I'm going to bring in my lid. So I have everything. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over to the Big Shot, and I'm going to die cut out the inside of my jar and the lid of my jar, and I will be right back. Okay, so I'm back with my embossed pieces. Now, what I want to do, I don't know if you can see this on the camera, is I wanted to add a little bit of dimension to my card. I didn't want it to just be a flat piece of powder pink, so I decided to do those lines. And how I did that, I brought in my score tool and I turned my card over because I wanted my lines to be embossed, and I lined, this here is the cutting track, so I lined my card up with the next line there, and using the gray blade I went up and down a couple times because I really wanted it to be deep, and then I moved it over to the 1/4 inch and I did it. Then I went to the other side. And it's just another way to add a little bit of visual interest to your card, so it's not blank, flat I should say. There we go, and that's the last one. And now when I turn this over, I have a nice border on my card. Isn't that nice? Okay, now the next thing, my card is pink and my base is pink, and I wanted my bottle to look like it was clear, so I wanted pink straight through the other side, but I also wanted this nice white border. So what I did with that to get that effect was I brought in my piece of Whisper White, and I, with my scoreboard, my cutting board, I brought this over, probably about 3/4 of an inch. And it really, I don't have to be precise. What I'm doing is just cutting out the inside. And I brought this down about an inch and I came down. Then I lined it up on this side, down an inch, and then again on this side, and then I'm just connecting all of my cuts. And then I'm just going to pop this out. Now, if I find that I wasn't precise, this just, I'm going to just snap that right off. Okay, there we go. So now what I'm going to do is attach these two pieces together. So I'm going to bring in my snail. And there is a very small border on that. Okay. And now I'm going to build up my window. So for there, I'm going to bring in my window sheet that I put over here so I wouldn't lose, right? Oh, There it is. And on the back of this, I'm going to attach some adhesive all around my cutout. And then I'm going to drop my window sheet right in there. Then, using the foam strips, which are invaluable when you're making a window shaker card, these foam sheets, they are so wonderful. You get 40 strips, so you can make 40 cards, because these, you use roughly 1 strip per card, depending on your size of your opening, but I found that pretty much one will do it for me. So now I'm going to come around and close to the edge, but not right at the edge because I don't want it visible. I'm just going to run this along. And when I get to the end, the most important thing is that my 2 ends come together. That is so that the snow that I'm going to put in there does not have a way to get out. Okay, so I'm going to put that in. Now I have this little piece left over. I'm going to cut it into quarters. If I can get it off my finger. And put it up on each corner of my card. And that's so that it's raised from my card. Now I advise you not to use dimensionals, because the dimensionals are not as deep in height as the foam strips, so they're not as high, so your middle will be up higher and your ends, your corners will go down if you use the dimensionals. Okay, so now I have this. I'm going to bring in my card base, and I'm going to fill the center here with some mica flakes. I used the Melissa Francis mica flakes. It's 1 ounce. I got it from Amazon. It was pretty inexpensive, and a little goes a long way with these. So I'm going to flatten my card out, and I have these little embossing spoons, and I'm just going to put about 1.5 scoops, because it's a tiny little scoop, right in the middle of my card. Now I'm going to take off the backing of all of my foam. I swear that's the hardest part of crafting sometimes, is taking this white paper off, this white strip here. And a little tip is to run your finger along the inside of your card. That removes any static so that your snow won't attach itself to the sides of your card. And then I'm just going to drop this down. Okay, isn't that pretty? Now I'm going to take the embossed lid and just attach that there, and then I've made myself a little bow with some white ribbon. I'm going to attach that with a glue dot, just because I want to wrap my little jar up so it's pretty, and because I love ribbon. And almost all of my cards feature ribbon one way or another. And there we have it. That was quick and simple, and it's just such an endearing card. If a hug were a snowflake, I'd send you a blizzard. And there's your jar of snowflakes, your little blizzard, and your jar full of hugs. If you have any questions at all about this project or any of the products I've used, certainly contact me at my blog, www.stampwithanna.blogspot.com. And I hope you'll catch me back here later this week when I have the last card, the shaker card that we made at class. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.